Unhappiness is often rooted in the past. We carry yesterday with us, mistakes, regrets, disappointments, and losses, and allow them to shape our present. Every unresolved thought, every lingering resentment, and every moment of self-blame becomes weight that bends the spirit and clouds the heart. The mind becomes a prison, replaying old wounds and reliving events that no longer serve a purpose. The truth is that yesterday is gone, unchangeable, and its power exists only as long as we allow it to live in our thoughts. The moment we consciously release it, unhappiness begins to fade, replaced by clarity, freedom, and a renewed sense of possibility. Life moves forward, and peace can only be found when the baggage of the past is laid down. Letting go of yesterday is not forgetting, it is refusing to allow past pain to dictate today. Many people cling to regrets as if holding them will change what has already occurred, but this attachment is a form of self-imposed suffering. The moment you stop carrying yesterday, you free your energy for growth, healing, and creation. Every step forward becomes lighter when you release old burdens. Resentment, guilt, and anger lose their grip. By consciously deciding not to let the past rule your present, you reclaim the power to shape your life according to your choices, dreams, and purpose. Freedom begins when the heart stops dragging the chains of old mistakes, lost opportunities, and past disappointments. Unhappiness thrives in the mind that refuses to forgive, whether it is forgiving others or oneself. Holding grudges or replaying past failures only prolongs emotional pain. Forgiveness is a powerful tool that lifts the weight of yesterday. It does not mean condoning wrongdoing or pretending hurt did not happen. It means acknowledging the past, releasing its hold, and allowing healing to begin. When forgiveness enters the heart, unhappiness begins to dissolve. Your energy is redirected from anger and regret toward joy, purpose, and meaningful action. The mind that stops holding on begins to experience peace, and life becomes lighter, freer, and brighter. Carrying yesterday also distorts perception. When the mind is anchored in past failures or losses, every present experience is filtered through old pain. Opportunities are missed, relationships are strained, and joy is diminished because the focus is on what went wrong rather than what can be. By letting go of yesterday, the lens through which you see life becomes clearer. You start to see possibilities instead of limitations, blessings instead of regrets, and hope instead of despair. The present moment becomes vibrant and filled with potential. Happiness is not found in the absence of challenges, but in the refusal to let yesterday's challenges define the narrative of today. Releasing yesterday requires conscious action. It is a choice made every day to step out of the shadow of the past and embrace the present. This may involve reflecting on past lessons without dwelling on them, acknowledging emotions without letting them control your thoughts, and intentionally redirecting your focus to what is ahead. The practice of mindfulness becomes invaluable. When you bring attention to the present, engage fully in each moment, and allow yourself to experience life as it unfolds, the power of yesterday begins to fade. You stop repeating old stories and start writing new chapters, chapters that are vibrant, hopeful, and aligned with your purpose. Acceptance is a key component in letting go. Yesterday cannot be changed, and resisting reality only intensifies unhappiness. Accepting what has happened, acknowledging losses, mistakes, and disappointments does not make you weak, it makes you wise. Acceptance allows you to stop fighting what cannot be altered and to focus on what can be influenced today, tomorrow, and the choices you make in the present. When acceptance replaces resistance, unhappiness loses its hold. You begin to see that life is a series of moments, each with the potential to bring joy, growth, and transformation, and that yesterday's events are merely chapters that inform but do not imprison your future. Gratitude becomes the bridge from yesterday to today. When the mind ceases to dwell on what was lost or what went wrong, it becomes available to recognize the blessings that exist in the present. Gratitude shifts focus from absence to presence, from sorrow to appreciation, and from limitation to abundance. By celebrating what you have now, by valuing the lessons of the past without being bound by them, you allow unhappiness to fade naturally. Gratitude is not naive optimism. It is a conscious alignment with the present moment, an acknowledgement that while the past may have been difficult, the present is a gift that holds opportunity, connection, and joy. Another essential aspect is self-compassion. Often, unhappiness lingers because we are harsher on ourselves than anyone else could be. We replay mistakes, criticize decisions, and amplify regrets. Letting go of yesterday includes forgiving yourself, nurturing your own spirit, and understanding that imperfection is part of being human. When self-compassion replaces self-condemnation, the weight of yesterday lifts. You allow yourself to move forward with a lighter heart, embracing the lessons learned without carrying unnecessary guilt or shame. This act of kindness toward oneself opens the door for happiness to enter and flourish. Finally, letting go of yesterday is a declaration of personal freedom. It is saying, I will not allow the past to control my present. I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose growth. Unhappiness diminishes because you are no longer chained to regret, resentment, or pain. You step into a life of empowerment, where each moment is an opportunity to create, love, and thrive. The heart becomes lighter, the mind clearer, and the spirit renewed. Life begins to feel expansive rather than constricted, and you realize that the only power yesterday has over you is the power you allow it to have. When you release that grip, unhappiness fades, and you step fully into the richness, beauty, and possibility of today. In essence, unhappiness fades when you stop carrying yesterday with you, because the past cannot define the present unless you allow it to. Letting go is not forgetting. It is freeing yourself from the chains of regret, disappointment, and pain. It is a deliberate, daily practice of self-awareness, forgiveness, acceptance, gratitude, and compassion. By releasing the weight of yesterday, you create space for joy, clarity, and fulfillment to enter your life. Happiness is found not in erasing the past, but in refusing to let it dictate your present and your future. The moment you lay down the burdens of yesterday, you discover a freedom and lightness that transforms your life, turning each day into a new opportunity for growth, love, and peace. The weight of yesterday often dictates the quality of our today. Many people walk through life burdened by mistakes, regrets, and disappointments that they refuse to release. These past experiences, though unchangeable, are allowed to overshadow the present moment, infiltrate thoughts, and suffocate joy. The truth is, unhappiness grows in the soil of yesterday when we cling to it, replaying events that no longer serve our growth or happiness. Every regret, every word left unsaid, every choice we wish we had made differently becomes a chain that restricts freedom and diminishes peace. But when we consciously stop carrying yesterday, unhappiness begins to fade. Letting go is not an easy task. It is a deliberate act of courage, self-awareness, and personal transformation, yet it is the key to living a life of purpose, clarity, and joy. The first step in releasing the past is understanding its role. Yesterday is a teacher, not a jailer. Every failure, disappointment, and heartbreak contains a lesson meant to guide, refine, and strengthen. The moment we view the past as a source of learning rather than a burden, its power to cause unhappiness diminishes. Instead of dwelling on regret or resentment, we begin to see experiences as tools for growth, understanding, and resilience. When we extract the wisdom from yesterday without carrying its pain, we step into a present that is lighter, freer, and more empowered. This perspective shift is transformative. It allows the mind to redirect energy from replaying mistakes to creating opportunities. Unhappiness is often amplified by attachment to what could have been. The human mind has a tendency to imagine alternative scenarios, replay decisions, and fantasize about different outcomes. This what-if mentality traps the heart in a cycle of longing and regret. The strongest antidote is acceptance, the conscious decision to acknowledge what has occurred without resistance, bitterness, or denial. Acceptance does not mean condoning failures or forgetting lessons. It means recognizing that the past cannot be changed and choosing not to let it dominate the present. By embracing acceptance, unhappiness begins to lose its grip, replaced by clarity, calm, and the freedom to focus on what truly matters now. Another vital component in letting go of yesterday is forgiveness. Often, unhappiness lingers because of unresolved resentment toward others or toward oneself. Harboring anger or disappointment keeps the mind tethered to past pain. Forgiveness, whether directed at someone else or oneself, is a powerful act of liberation. Forgiveness does not erase the past, it releases its hold on your emotions. When we forgive, we reclaim energy, restore peace, and free ourselves from the heavy burden of bitterness. Unhappiness fades because the emotional weight that sustained it is lifted, allowing the heart to breathe, to heal, and to open to the possibilities of today. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in releasing yesterday. The present moment is the only place where life truly exists. Yet when we carry yesterday, we are perpetually trapped in memories, regrets, and if-onlys. Mindfulness trains the mind to return to now, to experience fully the sensations, thoughts, and opportunities of the present. By practicing mindfulness, we create a mental space that is free from the echoes of yesterday. We begin to observe memories without becoming entangled in them, to experience emotions without letting them dictate behavior, and to act from clarity rather than from the unresolved pains of the past. In this conscious presence, unhappiness fades, replaced by awareness, engagement, and intentionality. Gratitude is another transformative tool for releasing yesterday. When the mind is focused on what was lost or what went wrong, it blinds us to the blessings and opportunities that exist today. Practicing gratitude shifts attention from absence to presence, from limitation to abundance, and from sorrow to appreciation. Recognizing what is available, what has been gained, and what can still be created opens the heart and mind to joy, reducing the influence of past disappointments. Gratitude does not minimize challenges, but it allows the spirit to rise above them, fostering resilience and lightness as unhappiness dissipates. Self-compassion is equally essential. Many people carry yesterday harshly, criticizing themselves for mistakes, missed opportunities, or decisions they regret. This self-condemnation intensifies unhappiness and prolongs emotional suffering. Letting go involves treating oneself with kindness, understanding, and patience. Acknowledging that imperfection is part of the human experience allows the mind and heart to release the heavy weight of past errors. Through self-compassion, we learn to nurture ourselves rather than punish ourselves, and we discover that the past can inform without imprisoning. The practice of self-compassion cultivates inner strength, serenity, and resilience, all of which dissolve unhappiness and make room for fulfillment. Unhappiness also fades when we stop defining ourselves by the past. Often, people identify with failures, rejections, or painful experiences as if they are permanent traits rather than transient events. Letting go requires recognizing that yesterday does not define today or tomorrow. Your value, potential, and identity are not bound to previous mistakes or losses. You are not the sum of regrets. You are the sum of choices you make now and the actions you take moving forward. By releasing old labels, self-judgments, and regrets, we reclaim the freedom to define ourselves by who we are becoming rather than who we were. This shift allows unhappiness to give way to hope, purpose, and empowerment. Finally, letting go of yesterday is a declaration of freedom. It is a conscious choice to no longer allow the past to determine your happiness, decisions, or sense of self. Releasing yesterday means refusing to let old disappointments chain the spirit or darken the present. It is a courageous act, requiring self-awareness, acceptance, forgiveness, gratitude, and compassion. The moment you stop carrying yesterday, unhappiness begins to fade, replaced by clarity, joy, and the capacity to fully engage with life as it unfolds. Life becomes lighter, richer, and more expansive when the past no longer dictates your present. Each day becomes a blank page, a new opportunity to create, to grow, and to experience fulfillment, free from the weight of what has been. Unhappiness fades when you stop carrying yesterday with you, because the past is not a prison unless you allow it to be. Freedom, peace, and happiness are found in the conscious choice to release regret, resentment, and self-blame. By embracing acceptance, forgiveness, mindfulness, gratitude, self-compassion, and the refusal to be defined by past mistakes, you step into a present filled with possibility. Life unfolds more fully when yesterday is no longer a burden, and the heart, once heavy with regret, becomes light, open, and capable of experiencing true joy. The power to let go is the power to transform, and the moment you release yesterday, unhappiness fades, giving way to peace, hope, and an unshakable sense of freedom. Unhappiness is often a shadow that follows those who refuse to release the past. Many people live their lives as though yesterday is still present, carrying regrets, mistakes, disappointments, and moments of failure as if they are chains that define who they are. Each memory becomes a weight, and the mind becomes a battlefield where old pains replay endlessly, coloring perception and stealing joy from the present. Yet the truth is simple: yesterday cannot be changed, and allowing it to dictate your present only prolongs suffering. The moment you consciously stop carrying the past, unhappiness begins to fade. Letting go is not a denial of history. It is an acknowledgement of reality and a courageous act of self-liberation. It is deciding that the lessons of yesterday will guide you rather than imprison you, and that your life today can be lighter, freer, and filled with purpose. The first step in releasing yesterday is recognizing the futility of regret. Regret is a powerful force that keeps the mind tethered to what cannot be undone. It whispers reminders of failures, missed opportunities, or choices that seemed wrong in hindsight. Yet regret achieves nothing. It cannot change the past, repair what was lost, or rewrite history. Its only function is to drain energy and cloud judgment. When you recognize that regret is a wasted emotion, you can begin to release it. By refusing to let past mistakes dominate your thoughts, you reclaim control over your mind. This conscious release is a declaration of independence. You are no longer a prisoner of events you cannot change, and the heart begins to experience freedom, even in small, incremental ways. Letting go also requires confronting and releasing anger. Many carry yesterday through grudges, resentment, or bitterness toward others who may have hurt them. Holding on to this anger does not punish the person who wronged you, it punishes you. It becomes a toxin in the mind and heart, perpetuating unhappiness and blocking growth. The act of releasing anger is not condoning wrongdoing, but reclaiming your peace. Forgiveness, even when difficult, lightens the burden of yesterday and clears a path for emotional and spiritual healing. It is a conscious choice to stop reliving past pain and to allow your energy to flow toward present and future possibilities, rather than being trapped in cycles of bitterness. Self-forgiveness is equally important. People often carry yesterday because of harsh judgment toward themselves. Mistakes, poor decisions, or moments of weakness become stories that are replayed endlessly, fostering shame and guilt. These emotions keep unhappiness alive, binding the mind to a past that no longer serves any purpose. Letting go requires compassion for oneself, the ability to recognize that imperfection is human and that every experience, even mistakes, contributes to growth and understanding. Self-forgiveness is a gift of freedom, releasing the chains of guilt and allowing the heart to breathe. When we treat ourselves with the kindness we deserve, we create a foundation for joy, confidence, and emotional resilience. Mindfulness is a crucial tool in shedding the weight of yesterday. When the mind is anchored in past regrets, it cannot fully engage in the present. Mindfulness teaches us to observe thoughts without becoming attached, to experience the moment fully, and to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. By bringing attention to the here and now, we create mental space where the shadows of yesterday lose their power. Each moment becomes an opportunity to experience life as it is, not as it was, and unhappiness fades as the present comes into focus. Mindfulness is not a quick fix. It is a practice, a daily commitment to living fully in the now and refusing to allow past burdens to dictate current experience. Gratitude acts as a powerful antidote to the weight of yesterday. When the mind focuses on what was lost, what went wrong, or what cannot be recovered, it becomes blind to what exists in the present. Gratitude redirects attention toward blessings, opportunities, and small moments of joy. Recognizing what you have today, appreciating growth that has occurred, and valuing lessons learned from past mistakes transforms perception. Gratitude does not erase pain, but it balances the narrative, allowing unhappiness to lose its dominance. By actively practicing gratitude, the heart becomes lighter, the mind clearer, and life more vibrant, creating space for happiness to emerge naturally. Essential step in letting go is reframing the past. Often, people carry yesterday because they perceive events as failures, losses, or missed opportunities, without acknowledging the lessons and growth that emerged. Reframing allows the mind to view the past as a foundation for strength rather than a source of shame. Every hardship, every setback, and every disappointment contains seeds of wisdom, resilience, and preparation for future success. By focusing on these lessons rather than clinging to negative emotions, you transform yesterday into a teacher, not a burden. This shift in perception lightens the load of past experiences and fosters a mindset that embraces challenges and opportunities with clarity and confidence. The environment we create for ourselves also influences how much of yesterday we carry. Constant reminders of past failures, repeated discussions of what went wrong, or surrounding oneself with negative influences reinforces the hold of yesterday. Releasing the past may involve changing habits, distancing from toxic relationships, or limiting exposure to sources that trigger regret. Creating an environment that supports growth, positivity, and presence reinforces the act of letting go. It ensures that unhappiness cannot easily find its way back, and that the heart and mind are nurtured in ways that support peace, resilience, and joy. Finally, letting go of yesterday is an act of empowerment. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow past mistakes, disappointments, or pain to define your present or future. It is a conscious choice to reclaim energy, focus, and emotional freedom. When you release the past, unhappiness fades and space is created for hope, creativity, and new possibilities. Life begins to feel lighter, brighter, and full of potential, and the heart can engage with the present fully. The power of today is no longer overshadowed by yesterday's burdens. Instead, it becomes a canvas for intentional living, meaningful choices, and the pursued happiness. In essence, unhappiness fades when you stop carrying yesterday with you, because the past is not a prison unless you allow it to be. Letting go is an act of courage, self-awareness, and wisdom. It involves releasing regret, anger, resentment, and guilt, embracing forgiveness, practicing mindfulness, cultivating gratitude, reframing experiences, and creating a supportive environment. By stopping the mental and emotional attachment to yesterday, we reclaim the freedom to live fully in the present, make intentional choices, and engage with life joyfully. Each day becomes an opportunity to write a new story, free from the weight of what is already past, and to experience peace, clarity, and fulfillment that unhappiness can no longer overshadow. Unhappiness lingers in the lives of those who refuse to release the past. Many people carry the weight of yesterday, regrets, mistakes, lost opportunities, and old wounds, and allow it to shadow the present. Each memory, each thought, each lingering emotion becomes a burden, anchoring the mind to what has already passed and stealing the possibility of joy today. The key to fading unhappiness lies in understanding that yesterday exists only in memory, and its power is only as strong as the grip we allow it to have. The moment you consciously let go, you reclaim your freedom, your energy, and your peace. Life becomes lighter, the heart more open, and every day becomes a canvas upon which new joy, growth, and purpose can be painted. Carrying yesterday often manifests as repeated thoughts about mistakes we wish we had avoided, decisions we regret, or words we wish we had spoken differently. These thoughts replay over and over, creating a cycle of self-punishment and stagnation. The first step toward freedom is recognizing the futility of such mental loops. The past cannot be undone, and dwelling on what cannot change only prolongs suffering. By choosing to stop replaying old mistakes, we redirect our mental energy toward constructive action. We reclaim the ability to focus on what can be influenced, what can be nurtured, and what can be created today. The power of this shift is profound. It transforms the mind from a prison of regret into a field of opportunity. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of releasing yesterday. Many people carry past pain because they are holding on to resentment toward others who have hurt them, or toward themselves for choices they regret. Forgiveness is not about condoning mistakes or pretending pain did not occur. It is about freeing oneself from the chains of bitterness. When you forgive, you release the emotional grip of yesterday, allowing space for peace, joy, and growth. Forgiveness is an act of courage and self-respect. It is a deliberate choice to no longer be defined by the actions or mistakes of the past. In this act, unhappiness begins to fade as the heart finds relief from the heavy burden of carrying old wounds. Self-compassion is equally essential. Many people perpetuate unhappiness by judging themselves harshly for past decisions, failures, or moments of weakness. This internal criticism keeps the mind focused on yesterday, reinforcing the cycle of regret and sorrow. Self-compassion, the act of treating oneself with kindness and understanding, allows the mind and heart to release these judgments. Recognizing that imperfection is a natural part of being human transforms the weight of the past into lessons learned rather than chains to bear. Through self-compassion, unhappiness diminishes, replaced by inner peace, resilience, and the confidence to embrace the present moment fully. Mindfulness plays a vital role in freeing oneself from yesterday. When the mind is constantly anchored to the past, it cannot experience the richness of the present. Mindfulness trains attention to the here and now, allowing for full engagement with life as it unfolds. By observing thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them, we create space for clarity and calm. Mindfulness allows us to experience each moment without the shadow of regret, ensuring that the past does not dictate the quality of our present. As the practice deepens, the grip of yesterday weakens, unhappiness fades, and life becomes more vivid, present, and fulfilling. Another essential step is reframing past experiences. Often, unhappiness persists because the mind interprets the past as a series of failures, losses, or missed opportunities. Reframing allows the individual to perceive past events as lessons, growth experiences, and opportunities for development. Every challenge, setback, and difficulty carries wisdom, resilience, and insight for the future. By focusing on what was learned and how it can inform present and future choices, the past transforms from a source of unhappiness into a foundation for strength. This mental shift lightens the emotional load and provides a powerful lens through which to approach life with optimism, courage, and hope. Gratitude amplifies the process of letting go. When focus remains on what went wrong, the mind overlooks blessings, achievements, and moments of joy in the present. Practicing gratitude shifts perception from scarcity to abundance, from regret to appreciation. Recognizing even small positives in life helps rewire thought patterns, reducing the dominance of past pain. Gratitude ensures that the mind invests energy in acknowledging and amplifying what is good, creating a buffer against unhappiness. Over time, this practice builds resilience, strengthens emotional health, and fosters a mindset that prioritizes growth and positivity over dwelling on yesterday. Acceptance is another crucial element. Many people remain trapped in unhappiness because they resist the reality of what has already occurred. Fighting the past, or wishing it were different, only prolongs emotional suffering. Acceptance involves acknowledging events, emotions, and outcomes as they are, without judgment or denial. It is a conscious recognition that the past cannot be rewritten, but the present can be shaped intentionally. By accepting yesterday as it was, and choosing not to carry its weight, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and open ourselves to joy, growth, and fulfillment in the present. Acceptance allows the heart to heal, the mind to settle, and unhappiness to dissipate naturally. Letting go of yesterday is also about prioritizing focus and energy. Every thought, emotion, and concern carried from the past consumes energy that could otherwise be directed toward creativity, growth, relationships, and personal development. Unhappiness thrives when energy is misdirected to replaying what cannot be changed. Choosing to release yesterday reallocates mental and emotional resources toward productive, life-affirming actions. The energy once devoted to regret transforms into motivation, clarity, and purpose, fueling a life of intentional choices and meaningful experiences. By consciously redirecting focus, unhappiness fades as the mind and heart engage fully with the opportunities of today. Finally, releasing yesterday is an act of empowerment. It is a decision to live free of unnecessary burdens, to claim autonomy over thoughts, emotions, and life direction. The moment you stop carrying the weight of past regrets, mistakes, and disappointments, you reclaim your capacity to live fully, to love deeply, and to pursue aspirations with clarity and energy. Unhappiness loses its grip, and life becomes a space for freedom, joy, and intentionality. Each day becomes a chance to create, to grow, and to embrace possibility, unshadowed by the events of yesterday. By choosing to release the past, you step into a future where peace, happiness, and fulfillment are not only possible, but inevitable. In conclusion, unhappiness fades when you stop carrying yesterday with you, because the past only has power when you allow it. Letting go is a deliberate, conscious practice involving acceptance, forgiveness, self-compassion, mindfulness, gratitude, reframing, and the intentional redirection of energy toward the present. Each of these practices releases the mind from the chains of regret, disappointment, and old pain, creating space for freedom, peace, and joy. By choosing to live unburdened, the heart grows lighter, the mind clearer, and life more vibrant. Yesterday becomes a teacher, not a prison, and unhappiness fades, leaving room for the richness, purpose, and possibility of today. Unhappiness persists when we carry yesterday with us. So many people walk through life burdened by memories, mistakes, regrets, and lost opportunities, allowing the past to dictate the quality of today. Each lingering thought of failure, each replayed disappointment, each unhealed wound becomes a weight that drags the heart down and clouds the mind. The truth is that yesterday is gone. It exists only in memory, and its influence lasts only as long as we allow it to live in our consciousness. The moment we consciously release the past, unhappiness begins to fade. Letting go is not denial or forgetfulness. It is a courageous, intentional act of self-liberation that opens the door for freedom, peace, and joy to enter the present moment. The first step in releasing yesterday is awareness. Most of the time, people do not even realize how much the past shapes their present thoughts and feelings. They replay events, relive mistakes, and ruminate over losses without noticing the toll it takes. Awareness involves recognizing when the mind is stuck in the past, identifying the thoughts that perpetuate regret or sorrow, and acknowledging the impact those thoughts have on emotional and mental well-being. When we become aware, we gain the power to interrupt these cycles. Awareness is the first act of freedom, the conscious choice to refuse the past permission to dominate the present, and the gateway through which unhappiness begins to fade. Acceptance is a powerful tool in this process. Yesterday cannot be changed, and resisting reality only prolongs pain. Acceptance involves acknowledging what has occurred, taking responsibility where necessary, and understanding that the past, however painful or imperfect, cannot be rewritten. Acceptance does not mean approval of everything that happened. It means allowing life to exist as it did without carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. When we accept the past, we release resistance, and unhappiness begins to lose its hold. The mind becomes lighter, and the heart feels relief, as the energy previously devoted to fighting yesterday is freed for living fully in today. Forgiveness, both toward others and oneself, is critical for letting go. Many people remain tethered to the past because they hold grudges, resentment, or blame. Forgiveness is not about condoning wrongdoing. It is about reclaiming peace. Holding on to anger or bitterness gives the past power over the present, keeping unhappiness alive. Forgiveness allows us to release this power, to reclaim emotional and mental space, and to move forward without the weight of resentment. Self-forgiveness is equally transformative. By treating ourselves with kindness and compassion for past mistakes, we release guilt, shame, and self-criticism, creating room for growth, resilience, and renewed self-esteem. Through forgiveness, unhappiness fades because the heart and mind are no longer held hostage by old pain. Mindfulness cultivates presence and awareness, anchoring the mind in the now rather than the past. When people dwell on yesterday, they are physically present but mentally elsewhere, reliving experiences that cannot be changed. Mindfulness teaches observation without attachment, allowing thoughts and emotions to exist without controlling behavior. Practicing mindfulness allows the present moment to emerge with clarity, appreciation, and opportunity. Each moment can then be experienced fully without the shadow of yesterday dimming its potential. Through mindfulness, the grip of past regrets loosens and unhappiness fades as attention shifts to what is real, immediate, and actionable. Gratitude amplifies this transformation. Focusing on what went wrong keeps the mind in a cycle of scarcity and loss, but gratitude redirects attention to abundance and possibility. By recognizing even small blessings, achievements, or moments of joy, we rewire perception and diminish the emotional power of yesterday. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges, but balancing perspective, ensuring that the mind invests energy in appreciation rather than regret. Over time, gratitude strengthens resilience, fosters optimism, and creates a buffer against unhappiness. The more we practice gratitude, the less space the past has to hold sway over our emotional state. Reframing past experiences transforms the meaning we assign to them. Often, unhappiness persists because the past is interpreted solely as failure or loss. Reframing allows us to extract lessons, growth, and wisdom from every experience. Every mistake, disappointment, or setback becomes an opportunity for insight and self-improvement. By seeing the past as a teacher rather than a burden, the weight of yesterday diminishes. This reframing builds strength, resilience, and clarity, replacing unhappiness with understanding, empowerment, and hope for the future. When we extract value from yesterday without carrying its pain, life becomes lighter, and the present is no longer overshadowed by old regrets. Creating a supportive environment reinforces the act of letting go. Surrounding oneself with positive influences, uplifting relationships, and reminders of personal growth helps to keep the mind focused on today rather than dwelling on the past. Conversely, environments that reinforce regret, criticism, or constant reminders of mistakes perpetuate unhappiness. By intentionally curating surroundings that encourage positivity, learning, and growth, the heart and mind are nurtured to release yesterday naturally. This conscious shaping of our environment supports freedom from regret and strengthens emotional and mental resilience. Finally, letting go of yesterday is a declaration of empowerment. It is saying, I will not allow the past to dictate my present or future. I choose peace, joy, and intentional living. Releasing the past restores autonomy, allowing the mind and heart to focus on what can be influenced, nurtured, and created. The moment we stop carrying yesterday, unhappiness fades, and life becomes a canvas for growth, love, and fulfillment. Every day transforms into an opportunity to live with clarity, purpose, and openness, unshadowed by what has already passed. The freedom gained from this act is profound. It enables the heart to engage fully, the mind to think clearly, and the spirit to thrive without unnecessary burden. In conclusion, unhappiness fades when you stop carrying yesterday with you, because the past only has power when you allow it. By cultivating awareness, acceptance, forgiveness, mindfulness, gratitude, reframing, and supportive environments, you release the chains of regret, guilt, and resentment. The heart becomes lighter, the mind clearer, and life more vibrant. Yesterday becomes a teacher, not a burden, and each moment in the present becomes an opportunity to create, grow, and experience joy. Letting go of yesterday is not just a decision, it is a transformative practice that empowers you to live freely, fully, and intentionally. The moment you release what no longer serves you, unhappiness fades, making space for peace, fulfillment, and the beauty of living today.